Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Conrad Gorlinski, and this is the news. Well, for 17 days now, Ukrainians have been resisting the Russian invasion. Today, in a special speech, the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, said that the resistance that the Ukrainian people put up against the invaders has already entered history. They are not, however, yet allowed to rest on their laurels. Also, in connection with the Russian invasion, the West is imposing further sanctions on Russia.
Last night, hostilities and shelling resumed in Dnieper, Mykolaiv, Vasilkov. There was an explosion in these cities. Today, the Ukrainian government will again take steps to evacuate civilians from Mariupol, which was cut off by the Russians. We've been here since February 24th or 25th. Food, water, our soldiers help us. It's just cold in here. At my age, I need warmth. At first, we stayed in a private house. We spent the night in a small basement, which was very cold. So we came running here. My brother-in-law is here. That's why we are here. I will never forget March 1st, 2nd, and 5th. That was something. Tanks were firing at houses, so we just prayed here. The city officials just left us and drove away. Nobody was warned. There was no green corridor. No one evacuated the children. We didn't know about anything. We just woke up on February 24th and found ourselves in this situation. The Ukrainian army promised us a green corridor several times, but no one gave it to us. So we've been sitting here in the basement since February 24th. Today, several thousand people protested in Melitopol, defending the release of Mayor Ivan Fedorov. He was kidnapped yesterday by the Russian occupiers because he refused to cooperate with the Russians. As satellite images show, the Russian military column is getting closer to Kiev. The president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, called on the mothers of Russian soldiers through his social channels not to send their sons to war. I want to say this to Russian mothers again, especially to draft mothers. Don't send your children to war in a foreign country. Ukraine never wanted this terrible war, but it will defend itself as much as necessary. Ukrainian soldiers repel the offensive of Russian troops in all directions. According to the data of the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, the current losses of Russians include, among others, over 12,000 soldiers, 362 tanks, 58 planes, 585 cars, 3 ships, and 60 tanks. Pentagon spokesman John Kirby called for an end to hostilities by Vladimir Putin.
And I just want to say, if I can again, it's a war of choice. Mr. Putin can stop this war right now by agreeing to a diplomatic solution, or at least just stopping the bombing and the death and the destruction that he is causing against a nation that provoked nobody, against a nation that presented no threat to Russia. All of this is by his choice, and all that blood is on his hands.
U.S. President Joe Biden announced further actions aimed at holding Russia responsible for the unprovoked and unjustified war with Ukraine. The United States will ban the import of alcohol, seafood, diamonds, and the export of luxury goods to Russia, such as tobacco, jewelry, cars, and antiques.
The United States and our allies and partners continue to work in lockstep to ramp up the economic pressures on Putin and to further isolate Russia on the global stage. Later today, together with other NATO allies in the G7, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, the United Kingdom, as well as the European Union, we're going to jointly announce several new steps to squeeze Putin. Each of our nations is going to take steps to deny most favored nation status.
This is not the end of the sanctions imposed on Russia. The Polish Economic Institute estimates that the current balance of Russian losses resulting from the destruction of combat equipment, blocked exports, and lost GDP amounts to approximately $15 billion. It is estimated that the annual losses of the Russian economy at the end of 2022 will exceed $250 billion. Today, French President Emmanuel Macron and German Chancellor Olaf Scholz spoke again by phone with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Representatives of both countries demanded that Russia stop the war immediately. We are ready to adopt other sanctions. All options are on the table. The purpose of our discussions is also to be able to prepare for sanctions, to stop aggression, and to prepare for all the consequences in the coming weeks and months. Since February 24th, nearly 1,600,000 refugees have come to Poland from Ukraine. Today alone, until 7 a.m., border guard officers cleared over 17,000 people from Ukraine. Today, the Sejm has adopted several Senate amendments to the law on assistance to Ukrainian citizens, including deleting provisions on the so-called impunity of public officials and entrepreneurs.
And more U.S. soldiers deployed to Europe yesterday to assist NATO allies amid the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. They'll be stationed in various parts of the continent, but will certainly come to support troops in Poland and Romania. Some 130 soldiers stationed at Fort Stewart in Georgia bumped fists with their leaders as they departed from Hunter Airfield, including Captain Sarah Seekins.
I'm thinking about the opportunity and how this isn't a normal everyday thing that happens. So personally, I don't feel pressed. I'm actually very excited to go over there and do our job.
Major General Charlie Costanza said the soldiers were told to prepare for a 6-month mission.
So the orders that we were given for them are for a 6-month deployment, and that's what we know now. Could it go longer? Yes. It could always get extended. Again, it depends on the situation. They could always come home early, too.
Costanza added that he felt proud watching the soldiers board the plane, but also understood that it won't be easy for them to leave their families.
I don't think I've seen this happen probably in the 30 years I've been in the military. But at the same time, whenever you send soldiers away for a contingency and they're away from their families, you remember what it was like when you had to go do that. And so there's this big empathy that you have every time you're fist bumping one of them because you've been that person on the other end of the fist bump.
The soldiers are from the B Company 87th Division Sustainment Support Battalion, 3rd Division Sustainment Brigade. The U.S. Army said the soldiers' mission included reassuring NATO allies and deterring Russian aggression. They'll be joining thousands of other U.S. troops recently deployed to the region. Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki and the government representative for energy infrastructure paid a visit to Goleniów, where the final works related to the expansion of the gas compressor station from the Baltic Pipe investment are underway. The gas pipeline will be launched on October 1st.
The Baltic Pipe, which is under construction from Norway via Denmark to Poland, is expected to be ready for gas shipments in October or November this year. With a capacity of 10 billion cubic meters per year, equivalent to half of Poland's annual consumption, the pipe will help the country reduce its dependence on Russian gas as Europe seeks to alter its energy supply following the invasion of Ukraine.
Our government has restarted the project of the Baltic Pipe just 5 years ago. And we were able over the past 5 years to deliver it almost to the end. Towards the end of this year, October, November, the Baltic Pipe is going to be ready. And then we will have 10 billion cubic meters of Norwegian gas. And today we know very, very well that we have to be independent of Russian oil and gas.
The European Commission has published plans to cut EU dependency on Russian gas by 2/3 this year and end its reliance on Russian supplies of the fuel well before 2030. Construction of the long-planned project was halted in May 2019 due to environmental issues in Denmark, but work has now resumed, Danish grid operator Energinet said on March 1st. Energinet said it had received a new environmental permit and expects the pipeline to be partially operational from October 1st and running at full capacity from January 1st, 2023. The suspension has already delayed the start date by 3 months. Norway in 2021 exported 113 billion cubic meters of natural gas via pipelines to the EU, and official Norwegian projections show a slight increase to 115 billion cubic meters expected this year.
And Italian police seized a super yacht owned by Russian oligarch Andrei Melnichenko. The vessel is the world's largest sailing yacht. The oligarch has previously been added to the EU sanctions list. Andrei Melnichenko is a Russian billionaire and the owner of a Russian coal company and a major fertilizer producer. His 143-meter German-built vessel is worth an estimated 530 million euro. The futuristic sail-assisted motor yacht is thought to be equipped with a helipad, submarine, and a glass observation pod. The Italian finance police seized the boat in the port of Trieste on the Adriatic coast in the northeast of the country. After the Russian invasion of Ukraine, many Western states have penalized numerous Russian businesses and people linked to Vladimir Putin. The Italian police have already seized a number of yachts and real estate owned by sanctioned individuals. As usual, thanks for joining me this evening. Please stay with us for Poland Daily Weather, Poland Daily Business, and other programs. But for me, it's have a great Saturday night.